Alien monsters try to climb over a wall to eat people. Why did Matt Damon star in this movie? Now, before I dive into this movie and bash it for being an over-budgeted, big, bad idea, which obviously, if you write movies and you work in Hollywood, how could you not see the writing on the wall? No pun intended. There is no doubt in my mind this will be one of the biggest flops of the year in the US. Now, from a marketing and business standpoint, there's more countries besides the US that watch movies, and one of them is China. So I'm willing to bet if you make a movie called The Great Wall and implement a whole bunch of CG big budgeted creatures in there with explosions and gooey green shit, the people in China might go see that movie, and there's 1 billion people there, so the movie could potentially make its money back, or at least most of it. And it sort of makes me sad for Universal Studios because they just can't seem to learn from their past mistakes of putting out big budgeted movies that are going to flop. I don't care what anyone says. I enjoyed this movie. It's entertaining. It's a bad movie. But at one point, Kevin Costner drinks his own urine on a boat. That's at least worth a watch. And speaking of Kevin Costner, this movie reminds me of 2 other movies that he starred in. And the first one is WOODRUFF, because The Great Wall is this huge action blockbuster film that doesn't try to take itself too serious, and it almost has this intentional B-rate movie vibe. And the other movie it reminds me of is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, also starring Kevin Costner. And why, do you ask? I'm going to tell you. Now, I'm not a historian. I'm just some weirdo who makes YouTube videos. I like to go to the gym, I watch movies, and sometimes when I'm all alone, I sing in the shower, and then I cry. And no worries, hang on, I assure you I will make this connect with Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Now, the plot to The Great Wall is 2 mercenaries searching for black powder, the ultimate weapon. Now, with all that said, this movie does in fact take place in the 11th century. The movie stars Matt Damon, who has an American accent. Not an English accent, an American accent, like the one I have. Now, this might be slightly debatable, but America wasn't even discovered until the 14th century. So how in the hell is Matt Damon's character talking with an American accent when America is yet to be discovered for another 300 years? Where did he get his accent from? No one knows. Why do I even care? I don't know. This is a movie about zombie dog aliens invading a wall and eating shit with green goo coming out. I guess I just wanted to give you guys a history lesson. And that right there is why this movie reminds me of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Matt Damon in this film doesn't even attempt another accent or an English accent, much like Kevin Costner did in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He couldn't do an English accent. It sounded really shitty. All right, let me try to find some positives about this movie. The first 45 minutes of this movie are somewhat entertaining. You meet up with a few of our main characters, including Matt Damon. You realize something weird's going on, and within those first 45 minutes, you get your first big epic action battle scene that goes down at the wall. And I thought the overall idea was somewhat interesting. It would be cool to see these big armies of these green slimy dogs that look like mutated zombies mixed with pickles attacking this wall. I'm like, okay, whatever. This is a big bloated action popcorn movie. I can eat some Sour Patch Kids. By the way, just on a side note, if you sprinkle in some Sour Patch Kids in your popcorn, it's amazing. Like, you have the salty, buttery taste, and then every once in a while, you find a little Sour Patch Kid in there. I'm telling you, try it out. So the first 45 minutes of the movie are somewhat entertaining, but then you slowly realize that's all this movie has. There's zero plot to tell, and there's no more substance to give. This movie is essentially a series of battle scenes with green gooey shit attacking a wall. That's what this movie is. And as far as the overall visuals of the film go, I thought they looked pretty decent. I seen the movie in IMAX 3D, and I think that helped to keep me entertained. At least it was slightly immersive. And like I just said, when it comes to the action sequences in this film, they're somewhat well directed and competent, and there's some really cool visuals at times. Some of the why can't I say this word? Some of the weaponry. No, that's not it. Weaponry? Whipped cream. Some of the weaponry, I think I did it right there, was really cool to watch. There's these big catapults that fling these flying balls that explode. One part of the defense of the Great Walls, they have these chicks that hang on these ropes with swords and axes, and they dangle them off on these little cranes, and they go down lower on the wall to attack. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Oh yeah, and the movie also stars Willem Dafoe. I don't know why he was in this movie, but every single scene that he was in, he just came across really creepy, and it was laughable, but not in a good way. The itsy bitsy spider! I don't dislike Willem Dafoe. He works, but in this movie, he doesn't. Now, here are my final flicking thoughts on The Great Wall. If you like big budget action adventure films that have a B-rate vibe, movies like maybe The Mummy or Waterworld, I like those types of movies. I really do. Except both these movies are at least entertaining. Movies like The Great Wall, though entertaining for a total of maybe 15 to 20 minutes, after that, you're just bored and you want the movie to end. And besides not having much of an interesting plot, the movie also feels very choppy at times. For example, something important or substantial will happen in the movie, but it just randomly and suddenly happens with no build-up, and after it happens, they just move on to something else like it didn't just happen. And I think for the most part, the director behind this film has a good eye for visuals. He also directed House of Daggers, if you've ever seen that, so it has that same style going on. So I'm going to give The Great Wall, those are my thoughts on The Great Wall. Now here's my question to you, and let me know down below what you guys think about the movie if you've seen it, or what is your favorite epic battle film of all times? You can't mention Lord of the Rings, that's cheating, that's too obvious. And by the way guys, if you guys like my retro Batman shirt, which I love it, you can find this shirt at my TeePublic store. I'll put the link down below. That's where all my t-shirts are, some of my own personal designs, other flick pick t-shirts, and just a whole bunch of other shirts that I love. They're all in my TeePublic store down below. As always, thanks for watching guys, and if you haven't already, make sure you check out my last movie review for Lego Batman. And make sure you subscribe, that way I can see you next time.